G'day from Rootstech. It's Jill at the end of a busy second day. This afternoon I've someone different to interview. Today it's the turn of Simon Orde, who's a software developer. He happens to be the developer of my genealogy software of choice, Family Historian. So I was really excited when I looked at the list of vendors who are having spots here in the exhibition hall to see that Simon had decided to come over to the US. So Simon, a lot of people who will look at this video may not know anything about your product, Family Historian. Would you like to tell us a bit about it?
Okay, well, it's a fully featured genealogy program that you use to store all your accumulated genealogy research on your computer, and you use it to generate reports, charts and diagrams, but also websites, family trees, CDs, DVDs, and even books and booklets. And you can use it to mine your data, get more out of your data in various ways. That's what the program is basically about.
As a fairly new family historian user, I've really only touched the tip of the iceberg because it's really hard to unlearn one program and then relearn another. Have you any tips for me as to what I should concentrate on first in massaging my data, or if I were a new user who had nothing online at all or nothing in a database, what would you suggest they do first with your product?
Well, it's good advice, genealogy advice, to think about sources and source citations, because if you put everything in about sources and source citations, you get to do it all over again sometime later. Actually, we can help you with that. You can copy and paste source citations.
Oh, so it's wonderful.
It's not as bad as all that, but nevertheless, it's better to try and do that sort of thing. But that's actually not so much family historian, that's generally genealogy advice. Yeah. I would say, I wouldn't worry too much about the tip of the iceberg thing. Actually, you want to use it for whatever suits you, what's important. The fact that there's a lot of functionality out there, and the fact that you're not necessarily using it is not a problem. I'm exactly the same with a program like Word or Excel. I use what I need, and what I want to do. It's nice to know that there is more sophisticated functionality out there, but you don't need to know it. When you're ready to use it, when you have the requirement, then you can do it.
I really love I used to have my research log on, it's been on an Excel spreadsheet, it's been in a Word document, I've tried Evernote very quickly for it, but I find that your program is just wonderful for managing my research log. So that's one benefit I've discovered, really good. So what else makes it different from other genealogy programs?
Well, there's a number of things. I think the user interface is rather different. We've tried to make it a much more visual user interface. Other programs tend to use diagrams just as output. That's for producing stuff that you show to other people, or in the extreme, to print off a chart and stick it on the wall. And that's absolutely fine, that's great. We provide a lot of facilities for that. We think we're second to none as far as that requirement, but there's so much more you can do with diagrams, because you can use diagrams interactively to explore your family tree. So, for example, if you want to, let's say somebody sends you a GEDCOM file, or by whatever means you acquire, a project and you want to explore it, you can start off looking at a few generations and click to expand tree branches and follow them like down a river. Yes. So there's the interactivity is one big thing. Another thing that's different about Family Historian is, and which we are much famed for, is our support for pictures and multimedia. A big thing is the fact that you can insert a picture into the program and then link it to all the people in the picture, and you can even link each person to their face in the picture. And once you've done that, it's quite easy to do, we will then reuse those faces within the program itself, where you see a reference to the person, but also in diagrams or websites. We think that feature is something that all genealogy programs should do, because the best genealogy programs are best genealogy pictures are the pictures of several people in an interesting context. So you want the whole picture.
Yes.
But if you're looking at a diagram or a report, you also want close-ups on the face. For example, in our family group sheet, you can have one picture, which is a picture of the family as a whole, and you can have that at the top, and then you can have a section for each person in the family, and just have their face against their section on the right-hand side with their age, and you don't have to put that in because if you put in the date of the photograph, and if we know the date of the birth of each person, we can just show this is them age 26, whatever it was. Yeah. And that can all come from one picture. So that kind of thing.
Yeah, that is one of the things that attracted me to the program were the multimedia capabilities.
Right.
And I haven't started because I'm still cleaning up my data. I haven't started using that, but that was something I could see your program as one that was looking to the future, innovative, and I decided, well, I'm going to get on board with this and see how I go. What I thought was a gimmick were your diagrams, your traditional tree views, but I'm discovering with their hot links, etc., that you can open up a record for anyone in your tree.
That's right.
I use the tree view for data entry.
Well,
it's wonderful to be able to see the whole family.
Yeah.
And just jump along a whole generation line from person to person and open and close them quickly, not operate on them, but open and close their records quickly. And so even though it appears to be a gimmick, it's a really good way of working in some instances.
Yeah, you don't have to work like that, but for some kinds of context, it can be perfect. For example, for an interview, when you've got someone sitting next to you and they're telling you about a whole branch of the family, they can see the whole picture as it's building up. And they say, yeah, no, that's fine, but you've missed out a whole branch family over there, or whatever it might happen to be. And everybody gets it and understands it.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. This is something else that I have used. You've got a variety of plugins available for the program.
Yes.
I have actually used because I'm a dreadful typist, so I've actually used the one where the correcting text one. You find a word and find all the instances of a word, and you can just correct every instance all at once.
Yes.
What else have I used? I've used one for to do with Google Maps. I can't remember what it did, but there are all sorts of little bits and pieces. Tell us a bit about the plugins and how they're developed, who develops them.
Well, they're mainly developed by people who other than us. This is a great and possibly arguably even slightly revolutionary kind of thing, because we provided the ability for ordinary users, now admittedly ordinary but fairly technically interested users, to write scripts, I was going to say. So anybody can write. It's like a mini program.
Yes.
Everything you need to do that is built into Family Historian. Now, a lot of people are never going to want to do that. We fully understand that. I'd say probably the majority of people are never going to actually want to write their own script. So it's not especially difficult, but you've got to be that that kind of bent. But when you write your script, you can do pretty much anything with the data. Well, anything with the data. You can add records, delete records, update anything. So you can create your own extensions to the program, and that could be a new way of entering data. It could be a new kind of report. It's something you could do as a one-off change. That puts tremendous power in the hands of ordinary users. And what they can then do, let's say you create a new tool, which is a very useful regular feature. I'm embarrassed to admit it, okay, but Family Historian has never had a search replace tool.
I know.
That's terrible, we shouldn't. But it now does, because one of our users didn't wait for us to write it. They said, okay, we'll write it. And actually, I'm in a dilemma about this, because I think, absolutely right, that should have been there since forever. Why was it not there? So really it ought to be incorporated into the main part of the program. But actually it won't be any different. It's exactly the same functionality, just as easy to use. And the thing is that when they write these plugins, they can submit them to the Family Historian plugin store, which is on our website. And once submitted, anybody can very easily download them. So you can extend the power of the program very, very easily, and it means you don't have to wait for us. If you've got some very obscure thing that you'd like, you can say, will you implement this feature, and we'll put it on our wish list, but if it's fairly obscure, it may be a while before we get round to it. This way you don't necessarily have to wait for us. And even if you yourself don't feel confident to write scripts, actually, there are an awful lot of users out there. The Family Historian user group website, the Family Historian user mailing list are stuffed. Well, I can't guarantee that, but they have been doing it. There's a lot of cases of that. Someone will say, how do I do such and such? And somebody else who's very savvy will say, that's really easy. You could whip up a plugin, and in no time at all, I'll tell you what, here it is, I've just done it, and download it, there you go. So what it means is that adding functionality, adding tools, adding new forms of input, new output, reports, anything at all, doesn't necessarily have to wait for us, the publisher, to do it anymore. So
yeah, it's wonderful. A couple of things I found were great, and I'm going to look for the place one now, and I'll add that so that I can do those searches.
Well, the plugin store is people are adding things all the time.
Yeah,
so that's
another reason I don't understand all of this 100% GEDCOM capability in that, but I'm aware of FISO, and I'm aware that you're a partner in FISO, or
That's
a
right.
founding member, or whatever.
Yes.
And I thought, well, after I read about it, I thought this is good. I want to be using a program that conforms to a set of, hopefully one day, international standards that's shared by a lot of products. So tell us about the 100% capability of GEDCOM.
Okay, well, Family Historian is 100% GEDCOM compatible and complete.
Yep.
And what we mean by that is you can create all possible standard GEDCOM records and all fields in all contexts. We can load, I should say, though actually it's also true that you can create them as well. So you can either write them or read them. And all fields in all contexts of use, and all possible values defined in the GEDCOM spec for all of these fields as well. And the reason we can do that is because Family Historian was designed from the ground up to do that. GEDCOM is not designed so that you have to do that. That's not actually expected. You can support a very small part of the GEDCOM standard, and that's absolutely fine. But what I personally find sort of annoying is that often...
For portability.
Well, yeah, it's a very important thing. And if you load something, a GEDCOM file into a program, and actually it's only loaded half of the data, I think it should at least tell you that it hasn't loaded the other half, and actually that often doesn't happen. But we put support for GEDCOM right up there, and that's why and in version 5 we now support all standard character sets as well. We were criticised because we didn't support all of them, so we did that as well.
Another reason why I moved over to the program was that it actually came from an English developer. Sorry, Americans, but I appreciated that there was an alternative to the big name American software programs. Yeah. It goes without saying that support is paramount as far as anything goes. And you have a wonderful range of support, from that manual that comes as a PDF with the product, right through to your mailing list and your forum, and what do you call the website? The user group.
The Family Historian user group website. All Family Historian users should sign up to that because it's free and it's fantastic. The resources are really,
I'm in
really
for
good.
everything. So you've got heaps of support. Where are you moving to in the future with version 6? When is version 6 coming? I know version 5 has been out for less than 12 months, or just 12 months?
It's about 12 months.
About 12 months, yeah.
Well, I can say we're working very hard on it. Actually, we started work on version 6 before version 5 was even released.
Yes.
We always do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff coming up in that. Don't usually give away our secrets about...
All right. Well, I just want to thank you for telling us about your wonderful product. I'm so glad to see you in America, because I don't think we're ever going to get you down to Australia. So
I thought about it.
Well, do come. It's a nice place. But it's great to be able to meet you here and to see your product showcased.
Thank you.
At Rootstech. So thank you for talking with me.
It's fantastic to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.